Good evening, everyone. Good evening. It is 5:30 and time to begin our meeting. I call this meeting to order. Roll call, please. Here.
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 Thank you. We will have our invocation and flag salute. Mr. Matthew Ridge Road. I'm sorry, Mr. Howe. We're doing just the invocation and flag salute first.
Okay, that's fine. So whoever's doing the flag salute, go ahead, and then the prayer.
Who's Charlie? All right, Charlie.
I pledge it as the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Father God, for allowing us to gather tonight. As we begin this event, I want to take a moment to be thankful for our amazing school, our very supportive and encouraging teachers, and all the opportunities to learn and succeed. In Jesus' name, amen.
Would the proud family and parents of these babies stand so we can recognize you too? Thank you. Vision statement. Ms. Barker, would you read the vision statement?
Absolutely. Our community, our schools, where your future begins.
Our mission, Ms. Scott.
The North Little Rock School District will prepare all students for their future by offering a well-rounded, rigorous, relevant, and innovative education that allows each student to achieve their full potential in a safe, supportive learning environment to be future ready.
And the moral purpose, Mr. Newsom.
As a community, our moral purpose is that all children will achieve, have a high-quality teacher, have a high-quality leader, and a supportive learning environment. Will not allow an achievement gap in the North Little Rock School District.
Thank you. Now we're down to the part that I most love all the time, is the recognition of people, events, and programs.
Yes, Madam President, members of our Board of Education, I'd like to welcome the proud principal of Ridge Road Elementary School, Mr. Howe, who will introduce his fabulous students and staff. Welcome, Mr. Howe.
All right, well, Madam Chair, Dr. Plusky, all guests. Ridge Road Elementary, our student voice team with the support of Ms. Baggett, Ms. Williams, and all the other ones that have been involved in this, have a presentation for you all tonight, so I'm not going to say much other than have them come on up here and present what they've got. So come on up, you guys.
She says, I'm good.
On February 26, 2026, Ridge Road Elementary hosted an unforgettable evening in celebration of Black History Month. The students showcased their knowledge with reports on black athletes in the Winter Olympics. The famous black Olympian I talked about was Keisha Love. Her sporting event was bobsled. She won 1 gold medal in women's monbob in 2025 and 1 bronze medal in 2023. An interesting fact is that she was the first to get gold on Team USA bobsled.
Hi, my name is Charlie Mancada Garcia. My famous African-American Olympian was Gary Hines. His sporting event was bobsled. He was born in Bartlett, Tennessee on July 3, 1989. He won 1 silver medal in the Winter Olympics 2002 and another silver medal in the 4-man FIBT World Championships in 2003. He was the first black American male to win a Winter Olympics medal.
Hi, my name is Danae Brumfield. My famous African-American name is Aja Evans. She was born on May 12, 1988 in Chicago, Illinois. She has won 3 bronze medals, 1 gold medal, and 2 silver medals in her career. She has been the first athlete to ever score a perfect 800 on a bobsled combined test. She focuses on explosive strength for bobsledding like box jumps, deadlifts, tire flips, and dynamic pushes. Ridge Road students attended Plum Bayou State Park for this third quarter PBIS incentive for our level of learning theme for this school year.
Students could go if they earned 475 dojo points, 0 behavioral referrals, no more than 3 excused absences, and 0 unexcused absences.
We are able to play Native America games, see different tools and weapons, do a walking tour of the mounds, have a picnic, lunch, and make some pottery.
We brought some of pottery to share with you tonight.
We have a bulletin board at Ridge Road Elementary to display all the students that have shown growth on the AFLIS test in math, reading, and writing.
We have been doing a lot more reading this year at Ridge Road. We were encouraged to read and log our reading on Beanstack. We have 90% of our students on log on Beanstack. This helped improve ATLAS scores and show growth. Between January and April 24, as part of Read to Feed competition, students from Ridge Road recorded their reading minutes with Beanstack. To celebrate Ridge Road's massive achievement, the district hosted an award ceremony at the winning school, Ridge Road Elementary, on Friday, April 10th, because we read over 150,000 minutes. The event featured the presentation of the Read Competition Cup and the high state sliming of Superintendent Dr. Paluski by the top performing student of the district and our Ridge Road media specialist, Ms. Brooke.
In science, we are doing hands-on activities with Mr. Lee that help me understand the process of science. We are studying the 4 spheres of our planet. We learned about the geosphere, hydrosphere, biosphere, and atmosphere. Hands-on experience helped my ATLAS science scores go up.
And here's our trophy.
Awesome.
All right, let me introduce our students. So that some of them said their names already, but I'm going to go ahead and send them again. We got Theo Miller, Charlie Wankata, Anae Brumfield, Elise Hughes, Allie Briggs, Axel Miranda, America Galindo, Gracie Sanders, and Damian Armstrong. If we have any family or staff here from Ridge Road, if you don't mind standing up, please. Thank you all so much. Thank you all for allowing us to come. We appreciate it. Family, you all want to come up? Staff, if you want to come up?
Some can stand up, yes, stand up there, yeah. Parents, yeah, if you could stand behind, that'd help. I love it. That's the reason why
It's like my security badge. It's like, well, this comes in handy.
We probably, it's gonna be some teens coming to probably still. Good evening, everyone. We have a lot of recognitions tonight, so I'm going to move as swiftly as possible. We'll first recognize our Glenview 4th and 5th grade basketball team. You all can come up. The Glenview Chargers 4th and 5th grade basketball team finished the early basketball season with a team record of 8-0. They defeated their crosstown rival, Meadow Park, to earn the championship. Malachi Perkins was named MVP.
have some of y'all, there you go.
Principal back there.
Mr. Kelly.
Mr. Kelly. Put your green jacket on.
Crestwood 2nd and 3rd grade basketball team. They also had an undefeated season, winning all 7 of their games. The championship game was truly competitive as they eked out a 1-point win over Glenview. Cameron Martin was named MVP. All right, the 6th grade basketball team. So they have, of course, since it's a big school, they're color coded. So the gray basketball, 6th grade basketball team won the 6th grade championship. So if the gray team would come up. They also had an undefeated season, winning all 7 of their games. Trey Williams earned MVP honors.
Get him, coach.
The North Little Rock Special Olympics team. They brought home the hardware for the Tournament of Champions.
All right.
There is also currently a fundraiser underway to raise money for championship rings for the team and coaching staff.
Awesome.
Please reach out to Coach Barbara Zertucci for more information.
Awesome.
Brighton Lou and August Bwinger. These seniors are being recognized for pitching in to help rally excitement for coming to the North Little Rock School District. These two students, who serve as our school mascots, put on the Wildcat costumes and accompanied leaders from our district to job fairs. Dr. Leanne Stoll, the Assistant Superintendent of School Network Support Services, said these guys really stepped up the recruiting game and brought enthusiasm with it to capture the attention and hearts of educators looking for a place to go. Ms. Reba Colley oversees the mascots. And we would only school district there with mascots.
Thank you.
Garrett Price is a state champion. Price placed first in the 100-yard backstroke at the state swim meet. He also placed fourth in the 100-yard butterfly. He was named conference champion at the conference swim meet, earning first in the 100-yard fly and the 500-yard freestyle. Price, a junior at the Center of Excellence, serves as the swim team captain. His mother is his swim coach. And his dad, too. Centonio Dicus, a senior at North Little Rock High School, is the recipient of the Burlsworth Character Award. This is a national award that honors high school football players who show incredible character and sportsmanship. Named for former Razorback Brandon Burlsworth, this recognition goes to a student athlete who represents the ideals and values of the award's namesake, who gives 100% on the field and stands as a moral example to his team. Dicus earned all-state honors in Class 7A in the Class 7A classification for his athletic abilities last season. He earned all-conference as a sophomore and junior. His peers also admire his attributes as they voted him as this year's Mr. North Little Rock High School.
Let me see that plaque. Coach Bowles. Yeah. I want to see the plaque. And I'm going to shake your hand. Yeah. Thank you. It's a lot. Congratulations. Thank you. That is beautiful. Thank you. No autograph now.
Tina Santoro, Claudia Moran, Kelsey Coulter, Ashley Hannon, Tracy Walker, and Kenny McMahon are being recognized for their efforts in organizing and executing the 5th annual Autism Awareness Softball Clinic, a hallmark event that embodies the spirit of inclusion and community in our district. It serves as a bridge between our athletic programs and special education department. The North Little Rock High School softball team hosted the students from the autism classrooms and self-contained classrooms for a day of athletic engagement and joy. The day consisted of medals, custom t-shirts, organized games, and delicious hamburgers and hot dogs. You can give it to him. Elizabeth Jackson, the assistant principal at Amboy Elementary School. The assistant principal at Amboy Elementary School is being recognized by her principal for her unwavering commitment to students, staff, and families at Amboy. She goes above and beyond her role, demonstrating a level of dedication that sets her apart as an exceptional leader. Most recently, she stepped in to teach math following a teacher's retirement, exemplifying her willingness to lead by action and meet the needs of our scholars without hesitation. Her support for teachers is both intentional and impactful. She works closely with staff to strengthen instructional practices and improve classroom management, providing meaningful feedback, modeling strategies, and fostering a culture of continuous growth. Because of her efforts, teachers feel supported. Elizabeth Jackson.
Go Rockets! That's all right. This is a lot.
Katina Veasley. The special education coordinator in our special services department is being recognized for her exceptional display of compassion and professional initiative observed and reported by Commissioned School Security Officer Sergeant Major Donald Hunter. While leaving a meeting, Katina encountered a member of our community who was visibly distressed and struggling to navigate the administrative requirements needed for her son's medical care. Despite the situation falling outside of her immediate scheduled duties, Katina stepped in to assist when no one else was available. She identified the information gaps and used her expertise to locate the specific records the parent requested. Ms. Veasley ensured the parent could return to the doctor's office with the tools needed for her son's treatment, and she provided a connection of what the observer described as what right looks like, offering prayer and comfort to the person in a moment of crisis. Katina Veasley. That's it.
I'm not gonna cry. Proud mama. We are down to public comments. Per Arkansas Code 6-13-619 and according to Act 902 of 2025, citizens who desire to speak during public comment must sign in prior and will be called to the podium. Speakers must meet one of the following criteria according to Act 902 and listed on the sign-in sheet. Reside within the school district, be a parent or legal guardian of a student in the district employed by the district. Public comment is not a question and answer period, and as such, school board members and the superintendent do not respond to public comments during a meeting. While we do encourage you to speak respectfully and professionally, further citizens will have no more than 3 minutes to speak and will not be allowed to make comments that should prejudice the board of directors concerning student or personnel matters that could come before the board for disciplinary or employment considerations, or that is in conflict with other district policies or laws. Further, public comments that include slanderous remarks about the school district employees or that would violate the Family Educational Rights Privacy Act are strictly prohibited. Personally identifiable information, discussion of student educational records, or reference to student directory information is not permitted during the public comment period. Speakers who violate these guidelines will receive a single warning and be respectfully asked to redirect their remarks. Should the speaker continue a violation, the board president will end the speaker's time and move on to the next. If the public comment goes beyond 30 minutes, the board may require all public comments to go beyond those 30 minutes and are not about matters that are on the meeting's agenda items to be held after the other agenda items. We have one, and that is Mr. John Linneman.
Hello again.
Hey, Mr. Lemon.
All right, been coming here since November, so you're going to go to a vote today for the new policy. I regret to have to say, you don't have to see me anymore. You can just vote yes, each and every one of you. The policy is just a thin wrapper around the law. It is absolutely not offensive in any way. Even if you're homophobic, you'd have to vote yes. It's that easy. It's just following the law. After that, the superintendent said all the books would go through. I'll ask for updates if I get updates. I don't even have to come back here anymore unless you guys want me to. That's it. It's wonderful. Rest of my time, I'll say a few things. One, I was looking at the budget, so high-level things. I might be wrong here. I'm looking to be told I'm incorrect. It's following the internet law. But if you want an answer, you don't ask the question, you post a wrong answer. Might be wrong. This is AI-driven. I'm seeing we're spending more than our peers for substitute teachers on the order of like $500,000. I don't know if that's because we can't hire enough people to fill in the gaps with substitute teachers. It's concerning. We're spending around $500,000 more than our peers when it comes to, I think it's professional services, looking for analysis over things. And these are not grant-driven, so they're not federal, state grants. We're just spending more than our peers here. Our regular instruction, it's about the same. We're spending more, though, on like support services, which I think is deserved. Trying to raise test scores. You have to look at supporting the people, so that one makes sense to me. I say all this because in the future I think it might come to a vote again where the custodians get outsourced. I don't want that. There's plenty of other things to look at. These are just a few that I found. They might be justified. I don't know the reason for it. But I'll be back if you try to outsource the custodial staff again. I don't want to be. So look at the other things. It's much easier to just not hire substitute teachers and you give that money to your regular teachers, things like that. Thank you. Just vote yes.
Thanks, Mr. Lemon.
Thank you. There is no legislative update, so we will move down to CPPC monthly report and LPPC. We will begin with classified personnel.
Good evening, Madam President, Dr. Paluski, and other members of the board. And our minutes are really short. So we met March 3rd of our regular meeting on Tuesday. 6 of the 9 were in attendance. We did approve our minutes from the February 24th meeting. And the only 2 items we talked about was classified tuition reimbursement policy. And this was actually given to me by another classified employee that asked the question, hey, why don't we have a classified tuition reimbursement policy? And so they took it upon themselves to draft one. and sent it to me. And I do understand that that's on our bucket list for consideration of cutting. But in the event that we keep the license tuition reimbursement as is, we would love to have the classified tuition reimbursement policy considered as well. We know everybody don't want to be a teacher, but there are other aspirations that they may have in their field of study that they could receive additional learning on to improve in their job. So we would like to keep this on your radar for the future. And then we did look at the draft of the library policy that was given to us, and our committee did approve that draft of the library policy. It was moved by Ms. Lawson, and I second, and the motion carried. And other items for discussion at that time were the district savings options, the salary schedule review and revision, and then we also had a proposed attendance policy that is yet to come before you. And that concludes my minutes.
Excuse me. Are there any questions to my left? Any questions to my right? Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
LPPC?
Good evening, Madam President, Dr. Paluski, members of the board. You're receiving right now a physical copy of something that I have emailed all of you, just so that sometimes it's just easier to read things when you can put your hands on it. But we just finished a survey where we sent out to all the classified and certified staff. As you know, the bucket list that we've been looking at for a few years, and we just wanted to get some input about where people's heads are on these items. And so our survey ended on Wednesday. We had 463 responses between certified and classified. 298 were certified, 165 were classified. The survey was anonymous. It did require participants to use an NLRSD email address. I did get quite a few requests to take the survey from outside, and I denied all those. 171 people chose to complete the open response question, and that's what you have a copy of in front of you. One thing, just to go over a few percentages, 64% of the folks who took it were certified, 35% classified, 52% of the people who, when we looked at reducing the prep time from high school from 400 to 200 minutes, 52% voted against, 25% or 26 basically percent voted for, and 22% didn't have an opinion. So really it's half and half there in terms of like no opinion, yes versus against. On custodial services, we had 61.8% against, 13.2% with no opinion, and 25.1% for. To eliminate tuition reimbursement, we had 56.6% of the surveyed was against, 27.2% was for, 16.2% had no opinion. Eliminate longevity pay. In our meeting, this was something that we actually made a motion about that we did not want the board to touch, was longevity pay. And at least for those people who are currently in the staffed, maybe for in the future, like if we could grandfather folks in, but we didn't want that to be touched. That was something that was really important enough to make a motion on. On the reducing the health insurance contribution to state minimum, 99% of people were against that. And when you look at number 6, and then 78.4% were against the elimination of the hospital indemnity insurance, 12.7% for, 8.9% no opinion. The elimination of district contribution to employee dental insurance was 99% against. You guys have made it clear, at least in our workshop, that your plan was not to touch employee benefits through insurance, and that seems to be the thing that scored the highest for us was the dental, the employee life insurance, the vision. All of these things were in the 90 percentiles or higher in terms of not wanting us to touch. We did have discuss the reduction of all contracts by 5 days if people had more than 195 days. And we said, well, that's not something that, there's a lot of folks that have that may have 200 days. And then we pitched that to the CPPC, and they did not agree with that. And so we basically just didn't make a motion for that because we didn't want to. There are lots of people who work a lot of days for less amount of pay. And so, we didn't make a recommendation on that particular one. But the survey showed that 54.4% of those surveyed were against that. Eliminating holiday pay, 64.4% against, 24.2% for, 11.4% against. Eliminate the SPED teacher bonus, 54.4% against, 35% for, 10.6% no opinion. Vote against the early morning and lunch aids to cover employee rotation was 65% against, 26.6% for, 8.4% no opinion. Eliminate Dean of Students, 43.4% against, 43.2% for, 13.4% no opinion. Eliminate dual classified jobs, 42.8% against, 34.8% for, 22.5% no opinion. Reduction of RNs, 54.2% against, 33.9% for, 11.9% no opinion. Re-evaluate security overtime, 49.7% against, 34.8% for, 15.6% no opinion. Re-evaluation of security personnel, 51.6% against, 35% for, 13.4% no opinion. And reduce ALE staffing to balance the ESA budget overage was 63.7% against, 20.5% for, and 15.8% with no opinion. So I think we can roughly say that we all have a lot of opinions and that we don't all agree on what's best to do. One thing that is clear is that staff are not interested at all in any kind of reduction of benefits for health insurance, regardless of that. That's above and beyond the required state for the minimum. There's a lot of decisions that have to be made. I know that staff are frustrated that we're trying to give to staff, but we're only looking at staff to take away from. And so it seems hard to ask people to say, take from one side in order to give to the other side. And so that's just really, that's a hard thing to have to do. Hard decisions have to be made in order to get us some salary increases, and we know that. Nobody's going to be completely happy with any decision that is made, and y'all know that. We know that. But it is good to have some data to be able to start from and go with to know, at least the people that participated. I mean, we had 463, I think, so that's better than usual, for sure, in terms of just participation. I know you guys discussed the AB blocks and leaving them the same at the high school. Just really encourage you to stay on top of that and make sure that there are still ways to make those cuts, to be looking at proper staffing everywhere we go in the district, to be properly staffed and not to be overstaffed in different areas. And those are ways that we can make cuts on an every yearly basis, is to be watching those numbers. And as our numbers get lower, we don't have to staff as many people. So that's just something to really be watching out for, and that just takes a lot of oversight from your principals to be able to manage that. Lots of discussions were made. There's a lot of emotions about this, and so I just thank you guys for including us in the conversation, and appreciate. I know some of these comments that you'll read on these papers are hard to read, just because there's a lot of folks that have been here a long time and they don't feel represented. They don't feel as though people are fighting for them. And so, you know, we really want to respect our veteran teachers, and we would ask that you really look at ways to keep people that have been here and really focus on retention. It's not always about recruitment, because we do have people that walk away that have been here a long time for lots of reasons, and we want to hold on to people and find out what it is that they need to be able to stay and to feel supported. And some of that is money, for sure. It's not all money. So, you know, we just need to look out for our folks. Do you guys, we also looked at the library policy. We had tabled that at the time. We've since passed that. And that was created by our librarians, and so that's something that has since been passed. We discussed a leave abuse policy that was tabled. We had a bullying update, and I know that's going up for review tonight for the bullying policy. We would just ask that that a link to the form to fill out would be available in the policy, so that when parents go to the handbook and look for the bullying policy, that they can find that link to be able to click on to report bullying, because you kind of have to dig for it a little bit on the website if you want to try to report bullying. So a link to that would be really helpful. And then we tabled the teacher removal of student from classroom. That we plan on approving next month. We're working hand in hand with Ms. Randall and Dr. Stoll about how to roll this out well, because it's going to district-wide really affect how we do discipline in the future. So that's just something that we want to make sure that we're all on the same page about when we're ready, because teachers are going to have lots of questions when that comes out. So we anticipate passing that in May. Let me see if there's anything else. Other things that are on here have been addressed already. Do you guys have any questions?
Any questions from anyone from my right?
Just some clarifications. Tell me give me an ideal of a dual classified job.
So that would include someone who, maybe they're a bus driver in the morning, but they're also a security officer. And so they're getting paid like for two different positions. And so that when you're classified, you may get overtime for doing two different things. But you may want to clarify there, yeah.
So we have employees that are like what Ms. Stumpinhouse just said. So they work let's say they work two part-time jobs. Well, the hours accumulate, and it's still based off a 40-hour work week by federal law. So they dip into overtime pay a lot quicker than, say, somebody that works 40-hour weeks and then does some, additional duty. Let's say normal security guard works an 8-hour shift, does a 40-hour week, and then works a ball game or something. By the nature of the beast, dual job, especially classified, qualify for overtime at a very, very quick rate, and it actually costs more than if we had two separate people. So if you need a bus driver, don't hire a security guard to be a bus driver, get a second bus driver. So that bends that bends the cost curve if we were to do that. But if they apply and they're qualified, we hire them. But there's no moratorium on it. So the idea was to look at that to say, do we want to keep doing that? Because it's actually more expensive as we do it, as opposed to if you need a bus driver and a security guard, you could actually hire two of them and be cheaper in the long run.
So we do also, Ms. Barker, we have licensed staff as well. So for an example, you might be a teacher at North Little Rock Academy, but you're out driving that bus and you're bringing students to that school. You get off the bus, you go teach, get back on the bus, and then take students. I think, well before I got here, I think it was a cost-saving measure as it related to shortage areas such as bus drivers, where they couldn't find some positions. So I don't have the history of how long
it was. If one person's a licensed, let's say a teacher, then drives a bus, that is a cost savings because teachers are salaried and they can't accumulate overtime. However, if you have a classified doing both of them, they do accumulate overtime, and they do it pretty quick, and that costs extra.
So they get paid for both jobs.
Exactly.
That's right.
And certified staff would also get paid for both jobs, but certified are salaried, and so they don't get overtime for doing the other job.
That is correct.
But it's one set of benefits, just two salaries.
Correct.
Can I clarify something? So on dual drivers, like our bus drivers or aides, they do receive the overtime, but it's a blended overtime rate. It's not straight overtime like time and a half. They take the two salaries, do some
Magic math?
Yes. So whereas overtime, regular overtime would be, you know, if they $20, it would be 20 times 1.5. But with the blended rate, after you put in the formula, it wouldn't be at the $30 per se. It would be like their rate would possibly be $10 and some odd cent. And that is a state regulation, not district.
Okay. And just clarifying, it said eliminate early morning and lunch aids and cover with employee rotation. So the employees don't already rotate and do that?
No, not right now.
They
Yeah.
do not. That's right.
No.
So
They're-
traditionally, where you might have a teacher that's covering, cafeteria, something like that, or recess. So we do have specific lunch aides. Now, many of them might be a lunch aide or an aide during the day, but they also might be a crossing guard also. So
Those are all part-time jobs, but they could be a crossing guard and then go be a lunch aide and then be a recess aide or whatever.
Yeah.
But several school districts do what they've called forever, teacher duty, who's got recess duty, lunch duty, that kind of stuff. And so there's other schools that don't do that.
It's
or school
definitely a
districts.
perk.
It's-
Because the district doesn't have to offer that.
You said it's a perk?
It is a perk.
It's a perk.
Okay, thank you.
Any more to my right?
Just a statement that I appreciate this information and how and yes, some of this is tough to hear, but I mean, I think, I can't speak for the fellow board members, but we ran into roadblocks not having information. And this is information we need, and it's appreciated, so thank you for that.
Okay, but I want to point out that some of this information is not correct. Like one of the first things I read was eliminate the superintendent's $80,000 vehicle and mileage payments. He does not get anywhere near $80,000 for that, and I hate when false information gets out there and floats around like fact.
Can you clarify then what it is so we can make sure the public is aware?
$7,200.
There you go.
Yes, ma'am.
Is the vehicle included though?
No, ma'am.
So it's your personal vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So what's
Did you
the
guys hear that?
correction?
I'm sorry.
I was trying to make sure the public hears that. That's
Yeah.
your personal vehicle.
Yes, ma'am. It is.
Yep.
Back in the day, we did provide a vehicle for the superintendent. Back in the day.
And some school districts do.
Yeah.
That's true. They do.
Sorry.
So I'm just saying, when you read this, that doesn't mean it's
Driving
correct.
a Porsche at $80,000.
Well, and I think that's a really important point, Ms. Temple. We do want to get rid of some misinformation that's out there. That's really important. So it's good to have that feedback so that we can help push that narrative.
And maybe to your point, Miss, is this the same one that you had sent us electronically?
Uh-huh.
Got it. So, and to your point, because I saw that too, and I was like, wow. Maybe it might be helpful if our staff goes through this and writes in here what's
Accurate.
That's right, Ms.
Yeah.
Barker. I mean, just to clarify.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea because, I mean, people can only read what they see.
That's right.
So
And they can go on false information if it's not corrected.
That's right.
And it spreads fast.
Anybody to
and
my
the
left?
superintendent's information is public knowledge, right?
Yes.
So yeah.
Anybody
Okay.
to my left have a question?
That's LPPC
I do.
survey.
So I just zooming out for a second, I was looking at the policies that y'all reviewed, and I know we have like 17 of them to approve today. So I was just curious, did LPPC look at there's been a lot going on, which I appreciate, but did you guys review the policies that are coming before us, especially those that affect student experience and discipline?
So that's not our role. Our role is to only make policy on the teachers, on certified staff. We don't really get an input on what's going to happen operationally for students and curriculum and things like that. Yeah.
I'm sorry,
So-
that doesn't make sense to me.
Okay. So by LPPC and CPPC, by the law, if you look at Section 3,
Okay.
and that's the licensed personnel. When you look at all of that, They are to have the opportunity to make changes, make recommendations, bring those to the board, to the administration. Same thing as it is in 8, which is the classified side.
Okay.
Now, one thing that we've been working on that we finally got off the ground is our policy development committee. So with that, and we do have in there as LPPC representatives from teachers and licensed, so we want to hear their voice. If it's curriculum, if it's implementation that's going to impact our administrators that I'm going to ask to implement, we want to make sure that we get their feedback as well. Parents is another element. I think Ms. McLean also serves on that policy development committee. So we want to make sure that we get all kind of feedback before we go forward.
Right.
As we move forward. The other thing that we want to be able to do, and I think that's why we set up the and push out the link, is that we want to make sure the public has access to the policy and can provide feedback, like
Right.
Mr. Lemon did.
Yes,
And
yeah.
he did that, and that circles into the policy development committee. So when it first comes to the board for information,
Right.
and then you vote on it, we want to collect as much information from all of our stakeholders so that if we miss something or, hey, that's a really good idea, we can incorporate that into the policy if it makes sense, and then bring it back to you before we implement.
And I will say on behalf of the district, like even though LPPC itself is not in those, the district is doing a much better job of asking staff members around the district to be involved in the development of those things.
So I'm the chair of the Policy Development Committee. And
Okay.
then like the superintendent said, state law drives what the PPCs cover.
Okay.
And it's just as simple as that. Now, all the other policies, so for instance, if it's on the
Like the ones we're voting on tonight. Will you
Correct.
help me understand what feedback was provided
Sure.
from the Policy Development Committee on these, if any?
Sure. So the way it works is we kind of talked about this.
Yeah.
The
And
way
we
it
can
works
wait
is
if it's not in scope for now, but
we
I
have
thought,
we have a standing policy development committee, and Ms. McLean is on it as a board member. And then what we do is, if it's a new policy, a policy that requires changes or edits due to a law change,
Mhm.
we come together once a month and we bring those forward. Now, I'm not an expert on, let's say, curriculum. So obviously, the curriculum folks, we invite them. If we think we're going to go down the road that it affects license or classified personnel policy, I usually invite the chairs to both PPCs. Sometimes they can show up, sometimes they can't. But if they don't, as soon as we get the draft out, they get the email, and then we start talking from there too. So it
Okay.
may not always sit there in that the boardroom where we do it. It could be somewhere else, but there's a lot of negotiation that goes on. So with all the student ones, Ms. Tiffany Randall's the expert.
Yes.
Of course, she was invited to that. She's not a standing member of the committee, but we knew we had to do that, so she was all in on that too. So we have these ad hoc positions where we bring in the subject matter experts. So we're, essentially, it speeds up the process, and we're not guessing. And then
Right.
we get all that input that we need.
okay.
So, and I'll just add to that. So what Ms. Randall does, even within this process, she has her own committee that's made up of parents, that's made up of administrators. So, and that teachers, counselors. So all of that, they go through a whole review of the handbook and, hey, what do we think that needs revised? What's the parent input on that? What's the impact on a parent on that? So we want to make sure that parent voice and teacher voice, because that's going to be impacted by
Right.
that, has an avenue for us to gain feedback to make recommendations or changes.
Yeah, so
And-
sometimes it's pushed top down, but it's bottom up refined.
Yeah.
And then sometimes those tentacles go off like into what was just described into other places that the Policy Academy may not see, but that rep brings in and says, okay, this is what we did with it at our level, and then we either bring those, if the changes make sense, if it's legal, all that kind of stuff,
Right.
then we incorporate that in there.
Additionally, the state gives us, the Arkansas School Board Association comes up with model policies.
Yes.
That they ship our way so that we have a framework to build policies
There-
around. And we often just adopt their
Yeah.
model policy.
There's a
I
caveat
know your
though,
caution
with-
there.
Yeah,
So,
there's a
but
caution
just
to that one.
For the LPPC policy review, then, those are only 3 dot.
So when you look at the
Yes.
policies, we got
Correct.
0, 1, 2, so
Yes.
3.
Threes are
all of
yours.
3 is yes.
And then 4s are going to be
No, that would be 8.
8.
8s.
Is all
And then, like,
classified.
Okay, thank
board,
you.
board governance, y'all, That's one.
Right. I've caught
And
up to that.
So
Yeah.
and that's all on there. And then
So,
you got
yeah.
student and
I'm
all that
just
kind of
trying to, as feedback comes in, figure out what is the appropriate channel,
Yeah.
you know, for it to go through. So it's for my own learning, but also for everyone else,
Yeah.
right? If they have
Yeah.
feedback on the
Sure.
policies that they see on the agenda, who's the appropriate avenue?
And I would say that that email that says policy feedback, Miss Pat manages all
Okay.
that. So all that kind of comes in from the public, and then that gets channeled to the committee. Hey, we had 7 parents. This is what their feedback is. Let's go look at this, and that's another avenue of feedback.
And then when does it come before us? And it's
Okay, so like we
Which is
did
where we are
last time,
tonight.
what
Yeah.
happens is
Sorry, thanks, y'all.
if we have an existing policy already, what we present to you are the changes, and you'll see those highlighted. Those are what was inserted, usually cut and paste from a law, and then stricken out, which is usually stricken out by a law, or some clarifying information in there that we've decided to put in so our folks understand it better. Y'all got that, of all these ones you're going to vote on tonight, the last board meeting. And so you get several weeks as an information item to chew on those things. Then what you'll do is you'll see them tonight that are listed. That is the cleaned up, clean version that if you vote on it will be posted on board docs. So you've got the old, and you can see where the changes are made,
See what the
and now you've
changes
got
are.
the
That's
clean
gonna be
version that
clear
you're
where you
voting
can
on.
see what's changed.
And then last question related to you guys. Will that also be the case for the policies that y'all are reviewing, like these absenteeism and those kinds of policies? Will they come before the board or no?
Yes.
They
Okay.
yeah, they will. So
Sure.
what we'll do is that the committee, we develop some. They're in-house. Usually if they're in-house, not a model policy. So like I said, the ASBA and ours don't always match. It's because we are trying to change something. We see something. There's been a problem in the past, or there's an opportunity in the future. So we might develop a policy in-house. If it affects license, we send it to LPPC. If it affects classified, we send it to CPPC. What we have been doing is when we know it's going to affect them, we invite them to the table up front. And then they get the first crack at it. And then they make edits or request changes. If the committee agrees, we do it. If they don't, it is what it is. And then they take it to their folks. They have 10 days, once we give it to them, to vote on it.
Okay.
Make
And-
changes,
Yep.
offer recommendations.
Yes.
And
And,
then it-
that's what we're seeing in the notes.
Yeah, right. And then it comes,
Got it.
then after that, it comes back to us, and we
Yep.
say, yep, this makes sense, or no, that it makes sense, and then we tee it up, and y'all vote one way or the other.
And by us, it's Ms. McLean, you.
The board.
The board.
Right.
Okay.
It's the board
The board
at
as
that
a whole.
point.
All right.
That is correct.
Which is the final,
Yes.
Yep.
the final say
And then
for it.
y'all make the decision, and
Right.
And then
Yeah.
we're off and running.
yeah, we walk away
And
happy
this
or
is
not.
something I would say, for several years, we've been trying to get here, and we
Okay.
finally got it in place. Now, I've worked in other school districts where there's a 3-read process to a policy. So that goes before the public 3 times before you would vote on it. I know that's not a practice here in Arkansas, but what that allows is ample opportunity for feedback. Now, the
Right.
opposite side of that is that can drag on a policy for several weeks. I'm not sure I would
Our
recommend
process
that.
is basically a 2-read
Yeah,
process.
I
and,
mean,
the, and I
months,
think
yeah.
that I don't want to change the process. I just want clarity on what it is so that as people read it and have feedback, I
Sure.
can route it to the appropriate group.
Yeah, that
Sure.
email.
Well, the safest
And
way
note
to
it.
do it, the easiest entry is to me and Miss Pat coming and going, and then if it affects the PPCs, we automatically launch it. It's just simple, and then Miss Pat tracks what's coming and going.
And that's why I
Okay.
would just clarify, I would suggest they're not emailing Colonel Steiner that. We want everything to go to that email, because what Miss Pat's doing is tracking it all.
Yeah.
She's tracking everything that comes in.
The suggestions.
And so it can get lost in an email, right. So I
Okay.
would
It's one
highly
door in, one
recommend
door
to
out.
Yep.
continue to use that. Good question.
Any
Yeah.
any other questions?
That's
to
all
my-
for.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sarah.
Any other questions to my left?
Just want to add in alignment with what Ms. Scott was asking. I think you may have described it, but during our training, I hear the committee, right, a policy planning committee, right?
Mhm.
And it rolls over to LPPC if that's what, or CPPC. Where in our training, they reference how the board helps to set policy. Tell me how that aligns with the committee. Is it?
Sure, I'll jump in there and I'll
It
take that.
says we set district vision, goals, policies, and standards.
Sure.
But voting on a goal, policy, I'm just trying to get, I think it's that word set.
Right,
That's
so,
good to
so
know.
that
So
would
that
mean, right, so you are the ultimate authority on approving any policy in the school district. Whether that's a brand new policy, whether that's a revised policy, it cannot go into effect unless it comes before this entire body.
Right.
So one of the things we've been wanting to work towards is, input from the board as it relates to, is there a policy you want us to take a look at? I mean, sometimes there are things that drive us that we have to do, like the state law as it relates to cell phones. Like, we've got to do that. What we've been working on, and Ms. Pat's been tracking, is we've looked at every single one of our policies, and the first thing I've asked our staff to do is, how outdated are some of these things? And they go back to like 1985. That was a great year, but in 1985, as an example, some of the policies are outdated. So we need to bring stuff to you that no longer. There's a policy where, we all recall, where at school they had a payphone, and you had to put the quarter in or something like that. So there are policies that we need to just come before you and say, I don't think we need this anymore. At the same time. Looking at what's existing that needs to be updated, and specifically in the student side or in the parent side, where a policy might be creating a barrier for a parent. And I'm very adamant about that, that we don't want to create barriers for parents. We want to impede those. So we're going through the process and prioritizing those, and if that's something we can come back to the board and say, hey, here's our slide deck of what we think that we want to work on. Is that the same priority that you have, or do we need to move something to the top of the list? So right now what we're doing is just trying to get this process started so that we can get we can get it moving.
And thank you, I was getting it, but my mind was thinking our involvement on the front end of creating policy.
Yes, ma'am. So
that's why I was making sure and getting clarification.
So for instance,
and who is that?
Ms. McLean.
Yeah, she's on the Policy Development Committee. But last September, Dr. Redis came in, and I sat right here as she tasked me to come up with the revised governing board policies. And then the board gave me some input of what they'd like to see. And then I sat down and personally wrote those and then went through this whole same process. Now, some of it was based off law change, that like the law that affects some of your terms and some of that stuff. Other things was stuff that she gave me in the board's will to actually put it in there. And in that respect, the board did set policy, and I was merely the staff person that wrote it. That's all.
So in your job description as chief of staff, you oversee this policy piece.
Yes, ma'am.
The policy committee. Is that what it's
policy development.
Policy
Actually,
development.
the way I do that is through the committee.
Gotcha.
Because there's no way I can do that by myself.
And also, Ms. Barker, Colonel Steiner is also, based on his experience, he's our legislative liaison. So when the legislation comes back in, he'll be having an updated session, very brief, but give you a high-level overview of what's happening in the legislature to keep you updated.
So who did this before we had a chief of staff? Who's
Nobody.
responsible?
Right.
So HR never carried these type things?
So
I'm just trying to get
HR couldn't do it by themselves because
not by
HR
themselves, but leading it like you're doing.
Yeah, HR wouldn't have the kind of.
Yeah, let me just back up there. So, and you remember, because you'd been on staff with us. So before, most of it was just the LPPC policies and the CPPC policies. And that was the major driving thing. So where, you remember, we met with we've been trying to get to is, hey, we got all this other stuff.
So they never had an overhead. They never had one over them, those LPPC.
No, because their by law is so specific to policy, the three policies and then the 8s as it relates. So that's where most of their work is. And so when you go outside of that, then it becomes a district-wide process because it's curriculum, it's transportation, it's all kinds of those things. So now we've got a process and involving our stakeholders in it so we can get this information to you for your final for input and feedback.
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're down to informational items. The first one is state testing scheduling data.
Yes, ma'am. Madam President, members of our Board of Education, I'd like to welcome Dr. Stoll, our Assistant Superintendent of Network Support Services, and the famous swim coach and mother of a state champion, Dr. Reynolds. It's testing season. We've started this week. It's been going great. As I've been visiting schools, kids are excited. Parents, thank you for all their support. And so we just wanted to give a very high-level overview so you have an idea when testing season start, when does it end, and so forth. So I'll turn it over to my colleagues.
Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Paluski, as he said, he stole my thunder because I was going to say it's testing time. The third graders have been testing all this week, so we have been watching those scores come in like election results because it's amazing how fast we're getting them now. They're coming in really within the 48 hours, and we've been getting some good news. So
I like that analogy.
it is. We've like every hour I'm checking that data. We want to know what's happening. So anyway, that was just really good news. You all have the slide presentation before you, and this is just our data piece tonight. And my colleague, Dr. Reynolds, is here if you have any questions about the dates and windows of the different testing, and we'll just entertain questions.
I'll start to my left. Any questions? No questions. Any questions from my right?
What the election results look like?
They're looking some good, some. We have some very promising. We only know third grade right now, but it's
How is that looking?
It's looking good.
Yes.
It's what?
They're
Growth. The growth. That's what we have, and
That's
it's
that
looking.
127. Those 127 students, mainly.
That-
Those are one about retaining. I'm sorry.
Those are the number of students that would be.
That might be, yes, the ones we presented, those are the
going
ones.
That number's in
into-
my head.
It's
Okay.
getting lower. It's
Okay.
looking good. We don't have all the results yet, but we'll come back to you when we do, I promise.
Oh yeah.
And we're going to celebrate.
We are going to celebrate.
I'm being positive.
There's
We're
some
going to
positive
we're
stuff,
going to
so-
have celebrations.
Okay.
No further questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Construction updates.
Okay, real quick, middle school. The bottom line is with that, we are starting vertical construction. So it means all the underground stuff is done, the pad is laid out. Now they'll actually pour the pad. They're pouring concrete in the footings. You can kind of see a reinforced wall they've already built. So everything is going up. So we are not doing, let's say, like a groundbreaking or something, but we will be doing a topping off ceremony. Those are pretty cool. Everybody gets to show up, sign the main beam over the top. There's a tradition to put a Christmas tree on top. It's a construction thing. They haven't told me the story why yet, but we'll do it. Nabholz will run it, and we'll do that with each project. I don't have an estimated time on that on the timeline, but we will get there, and we'll make a big deal out of it. You can kind of see some of the diagrams of how some of the beams and stuff are laid out. Going into the sports complex, the abatement testing is done. Bids are going out through our owner rep, doing that for us to be able to take the asbestos out, and then we'll knock that building down, and then Clark Contracting will come in and they'll start all the site work, and that will take a while because it's going to take, the way it is, a lot of dirt. And then where we are in Old Main, we're talking to CDI, our contractor for them. What they're doing is they're going out there and looking at 2 companies that we'll put bids out to actually haul all the stuff out. I don't know if you've been in there lately, but there is metric tons of old stuff that's got to go that is absolutely useless. And I don't know how old the stuff is, but that's phase 1 of that. And then phase 2, CDI will come in and do the demolition and start all the remodel.
And I want to add one thing. So remember, what we promised is that we would have our construction advisory committee. So that got started this week on the
We
middle
did get
school.
started with that. So we had the first meeting with the folks who were interested in the middle school, and they see themselves as telling our story, kind of cheerleaders. And so what I'm doing with them and all 3 of those committees is taking deep dives with them, answering construction questions, showing what we're doing, showing what timelines look like, so they can go out there and tell the story and beat down some of the rumor and fake news and some of the other stuff that floats out there, especially in the social media world, and they're excited to do that.
Are those like people? Yeah, who are they?
Oh, no, community leaders.
Like Mr. Luke King is on there. Ms.
Lee
Tackett is
Tackett.
on there.
We had the president of the middle school PTA, folks like that, not employees and
the other community, but and if any school board member knows of somebody that you would like to recommend to be on that, we'd love to have them.
Yeah. So what they do
and we
is
have one for the middle school, we have one for Old Main, and we have one for the sports complex.
Didn't we ask that a while back ago?
Yep.
I know I sent some names
Yeah, and we've reached out to folks. Some folks have said they couldn't make it, or some folks. So, but if there's somebody else that you would want to recommend, please.
Yeah,
please
our smallest
let us know.
one is for Old Main. There's no limit on these things, and it's just another way to reach out to the community and another conduit for communication.
Absolutely.
We can get a list to know who's already on the committee.
Sure,
and
we can
then
provide
share
that in
names
our
like that.
weekly board
Absolutely.
report.
We'll put it in
that
the
in our
board
weekly
report.
board report
Okay.
for you.
Madam President, I do have one question. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm just curious, just for my own curiosity about Old Main, because other campuses are more likely ADD compliant. How is that going to go? And again, for my own information, I don't want to get into a big thing with it. So the things to do, but are they going to put elevators in there, or how that?
There's already an elevator in there that we're going to tear out and put another one.
Oh, there
in.
is it? Okay.
It was used as a high school up to 2016, so
Okay.
it was ADA compliant up to 10 years ago.
That's
and
ADD.
it will be
I have
all
ADD, not ADA.
What did I?
ADHD. Don't get me going. But yeah,
Yeah.
okay, I was just curious about it because
Yeah,
I had
there's-
not ever been in that high school. So
Yeah.
yeah. Well, until
A-
the open
ADA
house, that was the
means,
only time I was ever in there.
To me, the American Disability Act, but my prior life, it's also Air Defense Artillery, so I get it.
Okay, yeah. There's a lot of
Right.
lot of numbers and a lot of initials to remember.
Absolutely.
But, okay, I was just curious. Thank you.
Have you seen any? I'm sorry, Madam President.
Go ahead.
Any? I know you said there's a lot of stuff in Old Main, like old awards and things like that.
No, ma'am. A lot of that stuff has been taken out. Some of it's over at the high school. There's some things, there's some memorabilia that we will hang on to. I'm talking about desks that are 50 years old that are absolutely falling apart. There's been some that there was, water intrusion, stuff that's got to go.
But we just know from Northeast that a lot of those recognitions went over when the schools were merged. So if you see some Northeast stuff, just put it in
They
a
are,
box.
Ms. Barker. They're in the arena. Coach Ballon's done a great job. We've got to display them. We kind of don't have the room over there, but that's one of the things. They're actually in a closet back there because I think somebody said when they were throwing stuff out and there were
they do a
trophies.
lot
So
of Northeast
we
stuff.
went and I think somebody went and got it. So we do have it. It's in the arena. We just I think Coach Ballon's working on how do we display it in the arena in some kind of showcase.
Gotcha. Okay.
I found a cassette player over there, if that tells you anything, so.
That's good to know. I wonder what happened to all the Northeast stuff.
We had a lot of awards from Northeast.
Any more questions
Nobody
to my
knows what
right? Any questions to my left?
We had a lot of awards in Old Main, too.
Don't start.
Oh, here we go.
Don't start.
Find myself.
Ms. McLean.
A lot of people have been asking me on the update for Old Main. It says August of 25. That was the last date that's up there, I think. Can anything else be added on there? Because I know things are happening.
August of 25 is when the contractor was picked. Now, behind the scenes, the architects are still drawing.
Can anything be posted there?
Yeah,
like
we could.
April 16th, 2026,
Sure.
and then just some additional
Yep.
information.
We can, yes, ma'am.
And same with the athletic facility, because
Sure.
I know we're in the process of the asbestos thing. Maybe that could be reported there, because I know we discuss it, but a lot of people don't.
We'll put it on there.
Okay, great.
Any more questions to my left?
I do have one question, just out of curiosity. I saw with the change order that there was $2 million in savings. Do you have a sense of what drove that? Like, as we're successful for the middle school?
Nabholz is really good.
Okay.
No, they did that. So it could have been that mine and the CFO, our estimate when we went through all this was wrong.
Okay.
But there again, we're grateful for that because transparency. There's some owner provided stuff that we're doing. Low voltage is a great example of it.
Okay.
That's costing a little over $1 million. So out of that, we had budgeted in, but now we saved $2 million. We're going to use $1 million of that for all the low voltage stuff. That's cameras, access, alarm systems. There'll be swipe card access for every classroom door instead of keys. Key control is very difficult. So we're trying to make life easier for everybody who's going to be working in there in the future. And the low voltage stuff it's operated through the system. You can control lights through the network.
Mm-hmm.
It decreased energy costs by about 70%. It's the real deal. So our philosophy on that was, buy once, cry once. And then, but we still save money. and will in
Yeah.
the future just on energy cost.
I just saw that savings and I wondered if we could expect more of that to come or if.
I hope
That's
so.
the goal.
My,
That's the goal.
Yeah,
I brought this
exactly.
up
I'm
once
like,
for the
just
goal.
know that as we save, I will see it. So.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Mr. Brown.
the big
Yeah.
unknown though is really Old Main. That was built
Okay.
in 1929. I mean, who knows what we're going to get into? You know.
Yeah. It's special.
To answer your question, the competitive bid process generated quite a bit of savings.
Okay, love that.
Nabholz had predicted higher steel pricing, higher, higher pricing in subcontractor pay, and when they conducted the bids, they got a larger response, which meant their workforce was out there and available for these jobs, and they got better bid pricing on products. They were predicting higher pricing just because of inflation, and they got good prices on product, and they got good competitive labor bids on the subcontractors.
Steel
So-
tariffs have gone down.
Yeah.
There's market forces driving a chunk of that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
During the process, I noticed there was, the main three, but they had subcontractors that they were going to be working with. Do we know how much is going out to those subcontractors? Some of them were minority subcontractors. Are we tracking that? Do we know
Yes.
if that's happening? Can we get an update to
Sure.
see?
Sure.
Especially,
We can- Yep. I know that
people
was
out of North Little Rock or
So
and
Doyne is the partner with Nabholz, and they were a minority-owned construction business, been working with Nabholz for 20 years. And Doyne was up here, and when y'all voted to sign the contract for the general contractor. So this is really, it's Nabholz Doyne that's doing this. Matter of fact, Doyne's office is right across the street from the Taggart building.
And they are tracking that data.
They
We
are.
asked them to. That was
Okay.
part of our RFQ
part, yeah.
process
All right.
and expectations
Well,
that
we'll
they
get
track
that
that
for you,
data.
I think.
But you
They-
can
they
but you
said
can
that-
share it with the board.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Put that in our
It
weekly
would be nice to know also what type of job opportunities we are presenting
Providing.
here. Are they getting people from the local area to work with Nabholz and to work with Doyne to see how we have impacted the economy
In the city.
in North Little Rock, in city?
That's a good point. That's a
That
really
is.
good
I
point.
like that.
That's a really good point.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're creating economic,
We can- we
jobs
can
right
research
here.
that.
It's a good point. It's a really
Okay.
good point. Okay.
Any further discussion? Thank you. We're down to action items. The first one is 12.1, new and revised policies. You could have stayed up here, Ms. Stanger.
And we'll invite Ms. Randall up here in case there's any questions, but I'd be happy to answer any questions for the policies.
Are there any questions to my left?
What's the email? I missed it earlier.
Yeah. Let me get that for you, Ms. Scott.
That's our policy now, right?
Yes. For,
Give me- Yep.
as we continue to make these updates for
Sure.
people to.
Absolutely. I'll find it. Okay. You wanna keep going
While he's
find
looking
that?
for that, was there any other questions?
No.
Any questions to my right while he's looking?
No.
Okay.
I read them all.
Okay. No questions?
You ready for a motion?
I was trying to get her
The email.
Email.
Oh, did you want that
Answer.
before you voted?
Well, I just think it's important for everyone for clarity that as we make these decisions, we're considering feedback. So if we have the email, I'd
Sure.
like it.
Can we let
Ms.
him
Pat, do you know that
continue
right off
to
the top of your
look
head, Ms. Pat?
And
Yeah.
go ahead.
I can't find it in the,
Is that okay?
was that the email?
Can you vote without?
Sure.
Thank you. Is there a motion for the new and revised policies?
Madam Chair,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
move that we accept the new and revised policies as presented on action 12.1.
Second.
It has been properly moved in second that we approve the new and revised policies as printed. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. 12.2, 2026-2027 Parent-Student Handbook.
Just 1 second, Madam President. Ms. Pat, could you let us know what that is? Is it policy questions at NLRSD? Okay. Policy questions at NLRSD. And we'll also provide when we do our board brief and send that out through our communications, we'll put a link in there that says, any policy, please give us feedback. So.
I'm out of here. Thanks, guys.
So our next, so this is the Parent-Student Handbook. Yep, and so we're happy to answer any questions, as you just approved a lot of policies that are
going to go in the handbook. So those links in the handbook will be updated when they're updated on. It's not board docs anymore. Diligent. Yeah, when it's updated there, those links are the same links. So the new policy just automatically takes the place of whatever's there already.
Any further questions to my left? Any to my right?
I have a question, but back to the last time. How are parents, I know what we did before, how are they recognizing their acknowledgement of all of these policies?
We're working on a process for that, so that'll come through our registration process. So we're going to have to develop a new form, and then we're going to highlight and send communication out on any changes that were made, those big changes that were on that presentation that I made last time.
Right.
So we're going to be sending those out through Dustin's department, through communications, through ThrillShare, with the emails, text, Facebook, Instagram, all of the different, highlighting the different changes, and then also on the open house nights. Because there were just too many that I guess needed to be initialed off on, that would be a very cumbersome process. So just making sure we get all of the information out through all of our platforms.
Which is, to that point, what we normally do in our, as you remember, our back-to-school guide that we push out. So we always want to highlight the major changes. So we'll do a big mass communication so that parents know these are the major policies that are updated.
And, when we look at some like graduation requirements, and just think about, I know the times that I had to sit in front of parents that did not, they said they wasn't aware of that when it came time to graduate. And I just think the step that I shared, and I just had something I did, and when I got to the bottom to check the box like we normally do, it would not let me move forward till I highlighted specific areas to say I had read that and I was knowledgeable of that. And I'm trying to help us be proactive with something that may come up.
Yeah, and so one thing we did discuss was if that's a high school thing, so then the high school would have like that specific policy. That's one that's really important and for parents to know. So we would maybe have them sign off something on just that policy just for the high school. It's really hard to put it in our registration process because that's dictated by the state and through Power School, and adding and taking away from that is really hard to do. And some of it we can't even change, but like focusing on, okay, that's a high school thing. We're going to make sure that all parents are aware of that specific, that policy really affects high school students.
All right, gotcha.
Okay.
Is there a motion?
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I move that we accept the Parent-Student Handbook as presented in 12.2 on the agenda.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second that we approve the 2026-2027 Parent-Student Handbook as presented. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. Thank you.
Oh, I do want to recognize Miss Randall because she came with me the other day to our superintendent's teacher advisory. So we took a deep dive and got their feedback as it relates to some of the changes. Thank you, Tiffany, for doing Miss Randall. I think they really enjoyed the presentation you did.
Yes,
so.
I enjoyed it too. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Next is 12.3 state testing scheduling data.
So, Madam President, that should not be on there. That is not an action item. It is an information item. There's nothing there to vote on. So if you wanted to amend it to, Ms. Pratt, I think is going to remove it. It's not on, it's on some, but not in others. So I don't know what happened there.
Okay. Okay. We're down to the consent agenda. The next item is the consent agenda. Are there any questions or requests to pull items for separately on the consent agenda before we vote?
I do have one
What do you want to pull?
No, I just have a question on the monthly budget, if it's possible for us to see it by fund account totals and a year-to-date column, or,
Yeah. So after we had our training, and I'd seen that before. So the BB example, we're
Yes,
we're
exactly.
gonna do that for you.
Okay.
So at the next regular board meeting, Mr. Brown is he's gonna work with his staff. So you will get that slide deck
Okay.
that we saw in our training. We'll do the exact same thing for you.
Okay.
That way you'll be able to see
At
it
the
by
next
fund.
one, we're thinking?
I'm sorry?
At the next board meeting, we're thinking?
Yes.
Okay.
So from that point forward, all the
All of them.
regular meetings will
We'll
always
follow
have that
that
element
one.
for you.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
Being that nothing is pulled, is there a motion to accept the consent agenda as printed?
Madam President, I move to accept the consent agenda as printed.
I'll second that.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we accept the consent agenda as printed. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. I learned that. Thank you, Cindy. We're down to executive closed session. Executive closed session per North Florida School District Policy 1.14A stating that private or closed discussions by the board may occur as part of a regular or special board meeting. Executive sessions may be held only for the purpose of considering employment, appointment, promotion, demotion, disciplining, or resignation of an employee, or to discuss matters of pupil punishment if requested by the parent or legal guardian. No resolution, agreement, or motion considered in the executive session shall be legally binding unless the board reconvenes in public session and presents the item for vote of the membership. Finally, Arkansas Code Title 25, Chapter 19, Section 106, 2C1 states, the specific purpose of the executive session shall be announced in public before going into executive session. Please join me in the executive closed session for discussing the following matters: employment, appointments, promotions, demotions, disciplining, or resignation of an employee. We are back in session. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the employment of personnel as presented in executive session.
Second.
It has been properly moved in second that we approve the employment of personnel. Being that it is employment of personnel, there can be no discussion, so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. We're down to acknowledgements. It's not really an acknowledgement, but how many can attend next Thursday for a meeting?
Oh, yes, just a request to see if anybody would be available for just the employment of personnel so we can keep the hiring process. We would need
Should
four.
be able to.
There's one,
Okay.
two,
Two?
3.
Same time, 5:30?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
And that's all we'll do.
What's the
It'll
date?
be that.
What's
and-
that date?
Next Thursday, the
23rd.
23rd.
If for some reason that changes, I will
Yes.
let you know.
So
So one,
I got 1, 2,
three.
3.
I think I'll be, yeah.
Well, four. Okay.
I'm gonna, if you don't need me, I'm not gonna be here. I have STEM.
Mr. Taylor?
You'll be the standby person in case we do,
Well, I
in
guess
case
you-
someone else can't.
We need
If-
four.
We'll have 4 if Mr. Newsom.
If for,
can
s- yeah,
make-
for, s- I should
but
be able
if
to. For some
something
reason, I
can't.
don't want to. Haven't looked at my calendar yet.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm
No
good.
worries.
Okay.
God only knows sometimes.
Okay, it sounds
so,
like-
yeah, if something happens, I will.
Sounds
I
like we
will
have a
let you know.
quorum, so yes.
Okay.
So, we'll see you next Thursday.
Yes.
And it'll be quick,
Yes. Student employment personnel.
really quick.
I have a
I
quick,
can assure you, it'll be really quick.
I have a
The-
quick.
How quick?
Are you still going?
I'm still going. The only acknowledgement that I had is I wanted to give a shout out. We went to Lakewood Elementary today for our superintendent luncheon. I love our luncheons. This time it was unique. We normally have ambassadors, and so I usually have my list of ambassadors that I give a shout out to. But instead of having ambassadors, we got serenaded.
We did.
So
Strike zone.
thank you, Lakewood Elementary, for lunch today. I'm done.
Okay. I'd just like to say to all our third grade teachers out there, we know you've been under extreme pressure,
Yes, they're
felt a
doing
lot
great.
of stress over this Atlas test. It's been given now. We love you, we support you, and we acknowledge all the hard work that you have put in. The results are coming in, and we anxiously await. And then also to just all our staff that's been working diligently to prepare our students for their upcoming Atlas that's next week. I'd also like to applaud the new members of the board. I know it can be overwhelming at first.
Preach.
I still remember how I felt when coming on the board. But just remember, you don't have to know every single thing, and you will learn as you go. Thank goodness we don't make all the decisions of the day-to-day operations of the school, because he does. And I know that you heard that. I know you heard that at your new school board training that you went to. But I hope that puts you at ease for just a little bit. So relax and enjoy our time together, because we're all working for the same cause, our students and our schools.
Well said.
Any other acknowledgements?
I don't have an acknowledgement. I do have something I want to say and get on the record. In particular, talking to parents and students that are in our North Little Rock Public School District. You may be very familiar with what happened with Artemis. All the people on Artemis were educated in public schools. This is a pathway, if you focus on it, to get you what you want in life, to get you where you need to be in life. And you literally can shoot for the stars and get there if you do it. And it may sound hokey and it may sound cliche, but it's the truth. You can be what you want to be if you apply yourself. And I think all of us want you to do better than we did. That's what faith we're putting in you. So focus on your schoolwork. Get your stuff done. Have a good time while you're here, because it doesn't last that long. And then go on and do great things like these basketball teams in here. I'm excited about the new students that are going to come up and play for North Little Rock High School. How about you guys?
Yeah.
So that's all I had to say.
Building a pipeline.
Is there a motion to adjourn? Oh, I'm so
Oh, I
sorry.
was going to just acknowledge our parents as well, as well as our students. And I took time today to do a Facebook post, and it said, praying for our students who are testing, tests that will determine if they progress to the next grade. Relax your mind and provide them with confidence. And so many responses from parents thanking for that test and the seat that we sit in, because we know it's not easy. And again, I echo the sentiments to all of our teachers, staff, and definitely our students and our parents. Parents, we need you. It starts at home.
Amen. I do. I just want to give a shout out to all of our teachers. I've been in schools and testing's going well. I'm very pleased about where we are. Our kids are working very hard. Our teachers are working very hard. Just a lot of positivity. So I want to thank our parents for their support of getting our kids to school. And certainly on time, as this test is very important. So just thank you.
All right. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I move we adjourn.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that we adjourn. Is there any discussion about it?
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
Ah.
We're out.